Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to everybody. Welcome to day 6 of the Pro Singer Career Accelerator Workshop. You feel like you're being accelerated? Are we delivering on the promise here? Are we being accelerated? I hope so. Tell me in the chat if you're already there. Jim's like, yes, I am. I love you, Jim. You're so motivated. Okay. So first of all, I hope you guys were able to download the homework last night and play with the making a song your own worksheet yesterday and maybe this morning. Who experimented that? Did you take yourself through the exploration to try to connect to your own emotional state in terms of what you're singing about? Remember, we talked about the idea yesterday that that connection happens in the specific. So to make more things specific for you. Yes, I see. Darlene did it. Jim did it. Steve did it. Nice. You guys stay accountable to this stuff. I know it's really easy to put it in that folder of things that I mean to do. And then like it's Christmas and you still haven't engaged with the tools, right? So allow for time this weekend to, if you haven't been here every day, to go back and watch the replays. If you have been here every day, go back and watch the replays. There's a lot that you will take away the second time you hear it, and give yourself time to engage with the tools, especially because we have Q&A tomorrow. And so if you haven't done all of that, if you haven't started to put the technique in your own body, work the mindset tools, work some of these performance tools, when we have our Q&A tomorrow, you have a chance to ask questions about this. But if you haven't engaged with it, then we're going to be done with the workshop and you're going to, be engaging with this stuff in a couple of weeks from now, and you're not going to be able to come in and ask me questions. So make sure that you kind of fill in the gaps of anything that maybe you haven't been able to play with yet, or you haven't been able to watch yet, so that tomorrow when we have our Q&A, you can ask me and get some support on stuff that might be, sticky for you, or you might have questions about it, you might not be understanding. Okay, so excited for those of you who've been engaging with the homework. Who is 6 for 6 in your meditations? Let's celebrate you. Go ahead, put 6 in the chat. Who is 6 for 6 on their meditations? Celebrate yourself. Own it. Who's there? Ivy, way to go. Nice. Jim, nice. Who else? I want to see you guys. 6 for 6, only 2. Okay. Oh, I see Steve did it. Marilyn did it. Nice. Okay. So again, you guys, meditations, it's about conditioning. It really is. And the more you do it, the more you're going to want to do it. It's literally that experience. So keep doing it daily. Okay, just a reminder of our housekeeping. Keep your questions in the chat. And oh, you guys, Ashley just put all of the links to the homework from all the last 5 days into the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, you in the Facebook group, all the links are also in the Facebook group. If you just look at what we've been posting every day, you can get those links, and you can request them in the Facebook group also. And it's okay, Sasha, if you've missed a few, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday, you have a chance to just show up differently today and get on it. So good. Glad you owned that. Celebrating you for owning it. So housekeeping, put your questions in the chat if you have. Also, save your questions for tomorrow. Also, we have a post going up into the Facebook group later on today. For those of you who have questions that you want me to be sure to get to tomorrow, you can put them in the Facebook group as well. A reminder, this is the safe space, 0 tolerance for any criticism, meanness, judgment going on in the chat. And let's see, I think that's it. Okay, shall we get rolling? Because today we're going to do some mindset. We're going to have a good talk on mindset today, guys. And you're probably thinking, gosh, we've been having a lot of good talks on mindset. Yeah, but like today, I'm going to hardcore y'all a bit today. Do I have your permission to call it tight today and to like not sugarcoat things? Do I have your permission? Tell me in the chat. Because you know me, I'm always full of compassion and gentle, but I'm going to mirror back. So do I have permission to give you some hardcore mindset today? Okay, tell like it is. I promise I will. Because this is where I get to gently and lovingly kick your butt in the best possible way. Because what we're talking today, you guys, what we're talking about today, I wish somebody had taught me as a young singer and a young performer, because man, it would have saved me a whole lot of struggle. And so what we're talking about today is the biggest hurdle that pro singers face and how to get over it. And so in my 25 years of being a professional singer and in my many, many years of working with professional singers, I have noticed that the biggest hurdle that singers have to singing the way they want and breaking through to the big careers that they actually want, it's not an internal, I'm sorry, it's not an external struggle. It's an internal thing. It's not a struggle that you're fighting outside yourself, contrary to what many people think. It's not an external thing. It's not money or time or poor training or a technique thing or any other external struggle. All those external struggles are really just a symptom. They're not the real problem. They're just a symptom of this massive hurdle, which is actually an internal struggle, which means, first of all, good news, you can actually affect it and you can change it. And we're going to do that today. So let's unravel this. So here's the hurdle: fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So most of you, whether you realize it or not, are acting from who you are now, who you have always been, instead of acting from who you want to be, who you get to be, and making decisions from there, from who you want to be, from who you get to be. And it really stunts your growth because you don't take the actions of who you want to be. You take the actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things stay fixed. And this can show up, for example, in your technique big time, because let's say you're having trouble opening up consistency in your high voice, right? Like you have to work on getting opposition to work in your body to do that, as we talked about. But if you have a fixed mindset, then high notes are hard. They've always been hard. They've been, they've been my kryptonite. They've never been my bread and butter. Other people can do them. That's not my voice. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to be. Fixed mindset. Okay. You want something different, but what you believe is possible has set up a giant resistance to that, which makes what you want nearly impossible to actualize. And this is just one tiny example. I mean, there's so many examples that we can give of this, right? Even though you want to open up your high voice, your body will not go as far as you need to go in your opposition to do that, because the resistance that the fixed mindset creates is just way too powerful, way too powerful. So you're singing from who you've always been instead of who you want to be, who you could be in that moment. Who you've always been doesn't believe it's possible, doesn't believe you can do it, believes it's for somebody else, it's for other people. So you will self-protect, and your body will not go, in this case, for the full opposition that it needs. And your high notes and your high voice will stay stuck. So it's about balancing your desire and your belief. Get that? It's about balancing your desire and your belief, because if you desire something that you doubt, there is no balance going on. If you desire something that you are annoyed about or frustrated about because it has not come, there is no balance in that. So the attraction that you're about is really lopsided, and it's not working well for you because only half of it's there. You want it, but you don't believe it. And if you want something that you don't believe, you are calling it in and pushing it away at the same time. That's what causes stress. That's what causes tension. That is what blocks your essence from showing up in performance. And it is what sabotages your impact. And remember, day one, impact equals income. Impact equals elite opportunities. Impact equals fans. Impact equals everything that you want. But that stress, that tension of wanting something that you don't inherently believe, it sabotages that impact. And so it's about how to balance your desire and your belief so that there is no gap. But sometimes it's like you have your shield up, and that's keeping you from receiving the very thing that you are asking for. And that shield, it blocks you. And one of the forms that this block tends to show up in is fixed mindset. Okay. Because, and here's where I'm going to go all quantum woo-woo on you, but this is real, guys. Like, I see this working either for or against my singers all the time. You see, if you are here in this body, But you are not here as only you, as your physical body self, as your physical instrument. Your inner being, your energy, your source energy is here flowing to you and through you. And it is a big part of actualizing your intentions for this voice, for this instrument also, because your physical instrument responds to it. That's what you've been seeing every day this week. Your voice is always responding to your energy, and sound is a form of energy. And this inner essence, this inner energy that gets transmuted in through the body into sound, it has a point of attraction too. And while this energy, it can't just like throw something at you, it cannot just insert something into your experience when you ask for it. Your inner energy, your inner being, it can hold the knowing, the intention of what you are asking for in such clear awareness that your intention and this, you know, a phrase that's pretty common right now, point of attraction, right? It becomes much more vivid, much more powerful, because you have asked and you have set that intention. You get that? You have that belief. And so what that means now is that you've set an intention. You have asked. And you want, in this case, powerful, glorious high notes, glorious money notes that bring you a world-class career in this example. And your inner being is holding the vibrational awareness of what you want. And energy and quantum field, and this is just quantum physics, guys, is responding to the attraction that your inner energy has going on. And when I say this is just quantum physics, guys, this is Einstein, okay? Like this is, there's two views of the world. There's the Newtonian view of the world, Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, and then there's the quantum view of the world, which is now what we have subscribed to now since Einstein. Quantum view of the world is that the internal reality is set up by the external circumstances. So Newton is sitting under the tree and the apple falls in his head. Ouch, like now I have a different experience. Gravity, oh, internal experience determined by external things. Quantum view of the world, a couple hundred years later, Einstein comes along and flips it on its head and says, no, the external manifestation of things is responding to the internal circumstance of energy, of energetics, of you know, atoms just broken down to their smallest parts, which at the end of the day is just energy. Right? Atom is made up of proton, neutron, neutrino, which is just made up of just smallest part, energy. Okay. So when you think about your inner being, that is just the energy that you are made of, that everything is made of, just energy at its smallest points, is holding this vibrational awareness of what you want. And external quantum field is responding to that. Versus Newton, it's the other way around. The internal is responding to the external circumstances. In the quantum view of the world that we subscribe to now in science, the external world is responding to the internal energy. Okay. So now a really interesting thing is happening to you because you have this intention and you're summoning this thing, in this case, the high notes that you want, and your inner energetic makeup and being is summoning this too, but you have your own free will of your own free thoughts. And you can think thoughts that block what you want if you choose it to. And your body's going to respond to that. And now I know most of you would say, oh, I would never do that. I would never think thoughts that block what I want, even though we do it every day because every subject is really two subjects. Like sometimes you think you're thinking about the high notes that you desire when really you're focused on the lack of them. Or you think you're thinking about the performance opportunities that you really want, but you're really focused on the absence of those opportunities. So in other words, you're thinking thoughts that are vibrationally and energetically inconsistent or energetically and vibrationally resistant to what you have asked for and what is being summoned to you. And fixed mindset is one of the main forms that this resistance takes because those thoughts do not match the desire that you have. You desire powerful, easy money notes. You could sing for days. You want notes like that. But fixed mindset says, high notes are hard. They've always been hard. They've never been my jam. Other people can do them. That's not my voice. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to be. And when the thoughts do not match the desire, that resistance sets up in the body And it makes it impossible for you to sing the way you want and achieve what you want, not just physiologically, but that resistance energetically now makes it impossible to achieve what you want. But the flip side of this is that your work becomes very simple. Your work is to invite the thoughts that match the desire, that match the intention, rather than thinking thoughts that match its absence. To say words that match the desire rather than words that match its absence. Because I have seen over and over, guys, in my life, in my singer's experience, that it is pretty much always true that when you ask, it's always given. General sense, when you ask, it's always given. The question is, when you ask and it's given, what are you doing about it? Are you receiving it, or are you blocking it with your awareness of the current reality that doesn't contain it? And so that's what trips us up, you know? So it trips us up the most, is we're focused on what we think is what is. And so if we ask for something that isn't yet, our awareness is that this thing we want isn't rather than it is, as we focus upon the isn't-ness of what we know as the isness of this moment, then we block it and we don't let it come because we're focused on what's not here. And then you complain, this isn't working for me. This doesn't work out. This isn't meant for me. I can't do it, da, 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 da. When it always is working for you. For better or for worse, guys, get this, like major concept for today. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And for a singer, that's like, because your body is just responding to what's going on in your head, which is what we've been training on all day, every day this week, okay? You get what you think about whether you want it or not. You strike a balance with things that you don't even want by just giving them so much internal attention. And so this brings me back to fixed mindset versus growth mindset. With growth mindset, you're not focused on the isn't-ness. You step into the desire. You step into the beingness of your intention. So who do you want to be? Fearless, curious, brave, fill in the blank. I'm legit asking you, who do you want to be? Tell me in the chat. What are the attributes that you want to be? You may not be them right now, but when you think of the future version of yourself who has succeeded at the things that you know you want, who is that person? Who do you want to be? Could be curious, could be passionate, could be brave, could be trusting, could be what? Tell me in the chat. Put it in the chat. Who do you want to be? Jim, impactful. Trey, loving, caring. Come on, guys. This is the spot where you get to either keep it all to yourself or claim what you want out there for trusted fellows, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, because now you're claiming it. Yeah, Sasha, accepted. Ariana, trusting. Katie, fearless. Inspiring. Celeste. Katarina, resourceful. Sasha, carefree. Steve, charismatic. Tyvee, confident. Steve, charismatic. Gordon, beautiful, fearless. Marilyn, authentic and true. Yes. Okay. So when you've cultivated a growth mindset, you step into who you want to be, who you get to be. Joyful, loving, famous, authentically true, charismatic. You step into who you get to be, who you want to be, and you are intentional about it, about choosing beliefs and an emotional home which supports that. And then the thoughts start to match the desire, and there's no more resistance. And then the actions that you take are coming from that place. When you sing, your body responds to that version of you. And it becomes 10 times easier to go as far as you need to go with your technique so it works, so that the opposition works, so that the breath support works, so that you're able to let go and open up. The high notes are easy. Guys, growth mindset is all about taking contrary action. You heard me say it, I think, earlier in the week. Everything you want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. So growth mindset is about taking contrary action. If the voice in your head is screaming at you all of the doubt, that's your inner critic, okay? It's just trying to protect you. And in doing so, it will continue to keep you small and always drown out all the other voices, the voices of who you could be, the actions of who you could take, going beyond the comfort zone. It will drown all of that out. That other voice, that's your awareness. So the voice of doubt, the voice of fear, that's your inner critic, otherwise known as ego mind. I sometimes call it the monkey mind. You know, being in your head, the thing that just won't shut up. If it's screaming at you and if it's loud, that's your doubt. That's your inner critic. But that other voice, that's the voice of your awareness. Your awareness is that small voice of knowing within. Fixed mindset doesn't listen to it. Fixed mindset does not listen to your awareness. It listens to the loud voice of doubt and fear, which is always trying to drown out that small voice, which is terrified of any change, of anything new, of you failing, of you getting hurt, of you losing what you have and not getting what you want, which stops you from going beyond your comfort zone and keeps you exactly where you are, fixed. Okay? Growth mindset knows who you want to be, listens to that small voice, because that voice of your awareness is who you want to be already. And most of you just don't listen to it. So the way that we get over the biggest hurdle from fixed mindset to growth mindset is to listen to your awareness, get acquainted with it. This is why we do the meditation. Because when you learn and you have a practice of getting quiet and you're able to witness your thoughts, what you're doing is you're aligning with your awareness. The awareness is what listens and sees and observes the thoughts. The thoughts is the monkey mind. The thoughts is the inner critic. The thoughts is your to-do list. It's your old conditioning. And when you align with your awareness and you just witness the thoughts, you witness the body, what you're doing is strengthening your connection of aligning with your awareness. And so the way you get over this big hurdle from fixed mindset to growth mindset is by listening to that awareness, taking action from your awareness. It knows who you want to be and is continually trying to nudge you in that direction. Don't ignore it. Pay attention to it and take action from it. It is the voice of your desire. It is the voice of your intention. It is the voice of your essence, the voice that knows that when you ask, it is always given. Go towards that little voice. Go towards the thing that scares you. I mean, those of you who I've coached with before in our program, how many times have I said to you, go towards the sound that scares you? Go towards the thing that scares you. Create beliefs and thoughts and an emotional home that match your desire instead of block it. And so you get to be a little scared. You get to be a little scared and do it anyway, whatever it is. Even something like investing in yourself to work in our training program, that can be really scary to some people. $7K on a credit card. Like, even though you have launched that rocket of desire where your awareness is telling you, this is what I want, this is what I need, that fixed mindset, that old mindset, the old you that's created the situation that you're in with your voice in the first place, starts to come in with, that's crazy. Like, I don't have the investment. I could never find that kind of money. Like, that's a bad idea. Crazy, right? And right there, you're acting from who you are now, who you have always been, instead of acting from who you want to be and making decisions from who you want to be. And then you don't take the actions of who you want to be. You take the actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things do not change. They stay fixed. But if you follow your awareness and you create beliefs that match your desire, here are some of those. There's always a way for the committed. Might take me 6 months, fine. What 6 months? Might take me 2 years, fine, right? But it's like, there's always a way for the committed. That's a powerful belief that matches your desire. Another one, it's just money. I can always go out and find more. That's my personal belief, and it has served me so well, you guys. It's just money. I can always go out and find more. How about this one? Abundance is my birthright. How about this one? Living my dream is the best investment that I can make. Now your thoughts are matching your desire. And you get to be a little scared and do it anyway. Because let's be real here. What is scarier? Investing 7K so that you can finally break the blocks and break through and succeed in your voice with your singing at an elite level, being able to get those gigs, make that money for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your career? Or looking back a year from now, God forbid, 5 years from now, and you're in the exact same place with the exact same frustration, the exact same level of income, the sadness, even the shame of having a gift that you can't live at the level that you want, because you're going to be scared anyway. So you might as well be scared and get what you want. Because regret, guys, is the most costly thing, which is why getting over this hurdle from fixed mindset to growth mindset is so, so important. Growth mindset requires you to go beyond your comfort zone. That's how we grow. It's called growing pains, guys, for a reason. It is not always easy or comfortable to grow. We're scared because we want certainty of the outcome. But your awareness will never lead you astray. It matches your thoughts with your desire. Aligning with your awareness means no regrets. That's what it means. Listen to your awareness. Take action from your awareness. It knows who you want to be and is continually trying to nudge you over there in that direction. So don't ignore it anymore. Don't resist it anymore. Pay attention to it and take action from it. And that is how you get over the hurdle. Okay. So that is my mindset soapbox for today. All right. Take it for what it's worth. It's just 25 years of watching those who succeed and those who don't. And this to me is the difference between those who do and those who don't, in like, if we really zoom out in like every capacity. So I have another special guest that I want to introduce you to. Yes, Celeste, that's my TED Talk today. I should do that as a TED Talk. That would be interesting. Food for thought. But I want to introduce you to our special guest today because she can really share better than anyone else her experience of going beyond her comfort zone and what has happened since she did and claiming the life that she's gotten from it. So some of you know her already a little bit. She is an incredibly talented singer and songwriter and professional worship leader. And she is one of my very favorite people on the planet. She's an intensive grad who went from a corporate job, I believe doing HR, to singing full time in 6 months. And she's also a grandmother. So I hope I look like her when I'm a grandma. And so if you're thinking you're too old or you don't think your goals are possible, just listen to her. Okay. Please welcome one of our intensive grads, Amy DeLuca. Amy.
Hi, everybody.
Some
Hi,
of you
Arden.
already,
Thank
oh,
you.
I have to unpin myself. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So some of you know Amy because you may have gotten to know her because her way of giving back to this amazing community is by being one of the concierges for our workshops and just helping singers because she's been, through everything. So I would love, Amy, if you would just start by sharing with everyone what was going on with you and before, you came in to train with us. What was going on with your voice, how you were feeling, what was going on with your career, just like catch everyone up on like what was up before you
Sure,
showed
sure.
beautiful ways.
Oh, wow. So, well, before meeting Arden, I was unemployed. I had been laid off 2 months before I saw her Instagram post, and my marriage was very strained. We were financially going through some really difficult times, and I was at a standstill in my career. I had a gig maybe once every month, maybe every other month at best. I was feeling really lost and depressed and not knowing what to do. And I thought that this time that I believe God was giving me, this time, of being unemployed was my time to do something. Like, this is it. Like, you gotta shit or get off the pot, pardon my French, but that's really where I was. And then I came across Arden's Instagram post, and it was like ding, 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 ding. All the bells and whistles are going off, like spirits, like you need to contact her. And that's exactly what I did. And here I am.
Well, and I mean, suffice it to say, did you need to go back to the corporate job? Because there was a moment where you were like you said, shit or get off the pot, pardon the language, but it's like
Yeah.
either my severance is going to run out and I'm going to have to tuck tail and go back to the corporate job that I hate,
Mm.
or I got to figure out how to take this thing to the next level so that I can actually be a full-time singer performer. So what happened?
Yes. Well, I I was actually terrified to take the leap, first of all. And when I initially spoke with Arden, I want to just point out that um, I literally made the decision to do the intensive on the phone call with her. And I knew that had I hung up the phone with her, that I would still be stuck on my sofa, crying my eyes out, being completely miserable, and probably back in my corporate job. And Arden, forgive me, could you please repeat the question, guys? I'm still
Yeah,
recovering
no,
from
I was like,
COVID. I'm still recovering from COVID, so
I
my
know.
brain is like, what? And I'm a little dizzy. So
It's
forgive
okay.
me,
It's
and
okay.
thank you for bearing with me.
Honestly, it's really just tell your story. I was just like, so what
Yeah,
happened? You know what I mean?
yeah. So, okay.
Well,
So,
let's go back to what you're saying because
yeah.
what were the big problems that you were experiencing that were keeping you small?
Well, definitely my mindset. My mindset was number one. I couldn't understand why I didn't have the confidence that was consistent when I would perform. And also the stress and the agony before every performance. And I would dread the dread of, oh my God, I have to do this again. Am I going to be able to get through it? Am I going to be able to hit that high note? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to do that? And all the chatter that was just absolutely annihilating me from the inside, and which then affected my voice, my performance. And then there would be times when I would nail a performance and I was like, how did I do that? What did I do that time that was different than the time I couldn't? So I knew that there was a huge component missing, not just with technique, because I knew that there was work there, but it was with the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that were plaguing me and causing me such distress and sabotage of not just my career, but my life in every area, including my marriage, my health. And it was across the board. And I'd had enough. I was like at rock bottom
Mhm.
with my career, with my marriage, with my life, my health, everything. It was all came to a head. And then I met Arden, and it was like everything I knew and didn't know that I needed was here with her. And I'm so forever grateful. Oh my God.
Well, and so our fast forward.
Yeah.
So, P.S., she didn't need to go back to the corporate job.
No.
And I mean, I remember when things really started to rock and roll for you, like posting in our Facebook group, another 14 shows booked. And then 3 days
Yes.
later, another 8 shows booked. We're at 36 shows I mean, and now it's just like full time. I think you make more money now per hour than you did when you were in your corporate job.
So in 1 hour for a show, I make more than I did for 3 days of my corporate job. So I look back like, oh my God, I'm making this amount of money in 1 hour when I would bust my ass making money and a dream come true for someone else for 3 days. Now I get to be my own CEO. I get to put all of this, the blood, sweat, and tears. into me and investing in me and choosing me for the first time in my life. And it
Mhm.
is just so empowering and just dreams coming true.
Mhm. And you mentioned a minute ago just the limiting beliefs. So I'm wondering if you're willing to share with everybody what some of those limiting beliefs were that you really recognized that were really taking you down.
Number one was my age. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
too old. No one's gonna want me. I'm like, washed up. I'm too old. I'm 51 and I'm a GG, I'm a mom. And I'm like, who's gonna want me? I'm too old. And what are the others? Let's see. Oh, I'm not thin enough. I don't have a unique whatever. It was just like there was just a scroll, a list of things.
One of the ones that I really remember was it's not safe. It's not safe to be
Oh,
heard.
yes,
Remember that
right.
one?
Yes, yes, and yes, and feeling. Thank you, Sasha. I appreciate the compliment. um, for my hair. Thank you. um, I yes, not feeling safe, feeling like who will I become if I allow myself to step into the power of being who I'm really meant to be. And, also like the flack from family, like, how are they going to treat me or mistreat me that I'm not doing the corporate job because, you got to be practical and have something to fall back on, which I've done my whole life. And I've been miserable until now, where
Mhm.
I'm proving, it's not even about proving, but I'm doing things I never thought I would do,
Like,
like booking my own shows, being a solo act. Okay. So I don't play an instrument except my voice. I can dabble with piano. I used to play trombone for like 14 years, but I can't play trombone and sing at the same time. I can't accompany myself. That'd be pretty interesting. So I remember struggling with Arden saying, I really want to do something solo, but I was terrified. I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I put up all these roadblocks, all these excuses about why I can't. No, I can't. And then, well, just use tracks, sing to the tracks. And then I'm like, oh, well, it's going to be like karaoke. And of course, the inner critic is going at it, trying to keep me safe, but as actually was
helping
making
you.
me play small.
Yeah.
So I created my own business as a solo act. And now I go all over the place singing with backing tracks, and I get to make my own set lists. I get to research all the songs that I think would be suitable for whatever the show is. And it's really just it's amazing that I'm like, I get to do this and I'm like getting so great at it. I'm
Yeah.
so great at it now.
So great at it that you stood on stage. I'm just going to brag about Amy for a second in front of like 3 or 4 thousand people, like as the like headliner leading worship for like a major festival. Would you call it? Like
It was
worship.
it was like a worship convention, and it was actually in Minnesota. And not just that, but I just learned that I'm on the cover of their magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was crazy is that my husband, like 2 weeks ago, he brought in the mail and he's like, you are a star. And he held up the magazine. I'm like, wait a minute, what is I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm on the cover. And I was on the inside too. So yeah, it
Right.
was an incredible experience, huge worship experience conference where there were worship leaders from all over the world, as far as like Africa, China, Japan, that came in. And it was just incredible. It
That
was a
was a big
dream.
intention. That was a big intention that you said. I remember having a conversation with you and asking you, what do you want to be celebrating a year from now? And one of the things was like, because Amy does Christian music a lot too. That's, and that was like a big part of what you wanted to create. But what's interesting is when we had our conversation, I mean, some you had some real circumstance that I think a lot of people here could probably relate to when it came to really going beyond the fear and going beyond the comfort zone. And when it came to claiming what you want and getting the help that you needed to get it, um, I remember Amy was like, my husband's gonna divorce me. Like, I can't, and I don't even know where I'm gonna find the investment. Like, I know I need it, but I don't even know, right? So can you speak
Yes.
about what was it that you think made you take the leap on yourself?
I distinctly remembering the conversation. It was our initial conversation when you were telling me about the intensive. And all the while in my mind, I'm like, how am I going to pay for this? I'm unemployed. My unemployment's going to run out in a couple of months. We're barely scraping by. I have to talk to my husband. All of these things were going on in my head. How am I going to talk to my husband? But if I hang up, I'm not going to do this. I know I'm not going to do this. And he'll talk me out of it because of the money. And it was just like this. I can't even describe. I don't even know if I know the thought, but I know the feeling. It was almost like something took over. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to go on PayPal and I'm going to take out a loan while I'm on the phone with Arden. Okay, I got accepted. Oh, right. How much more do I need to pay? Oh, okay. So, and I did another. So I did two loans. I got approved right then and there. And that was it. Was I shitting my pants? Yes. Part of my French, again, I know you guys speak it fluently. Yes. However, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't talk to my husband. I text messaged him. I did the best I could. I text messaged him while I was on the phone with Arden. I'm like, honey, I'm gonna, this is what I'm doing. And did it cause huge uproar, upheaval? Yes. My husband was seriously considering divorcing me over this until he saw I'm getting my wife back. I wasn't I wasn't myself before Arden. I had lost my light, my passion, my desire, my hunger, my thirst for what I am meant to do, what God has given me to do, these gifts. And this wouldn't have happened had I not taken that leap. And my husband says, I will go get down on my hands and knees and I will kiss her feet, thanking her. He says, I'll go on Zoom. I don't care. I'll do it on Zoom.
I'll tell you what, I've never met a spouse who wasn't tickled pink when their partner is joyful, living the life they're meant to live, and making money doing it. And P.S., like, how many times have you made back that investment now?
Exponentially, like a hundredfold, a hundredfold, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's just, God is good. God is so good. The universe, spirit, whatever you want to call the higher, the higher power, higher self, will always, always, always provide. Always, always, always provides, no matter what.
And so now, like, having, learned how to go beyond your comfort zone and show up for yourself from that very beginning, showing up for yourself, even being scared and doing it anyway, right? What are the biggest changes that you have noticed in, well, first of all, let's talk about in your singing, in your sound, what happens on stage when you perform?
Hmm. It's like I step into like I've shared this before, but before I go on any stage, I close my eyes and I envision myself stepping into this beam of light that's going right into my crown chakra and illuminating every single pore and inch of my body. And that is spirit, that is God. And it's like I pray, I say, some affirmations like I'm knowing that, you know, uh, that use me as your vessel. I'm going to step out of the way and I'm going to allow you to use me and use my gifts as they're meant to be used. And and I walk out there and I don't worry about, oh my gosh, am I going to hit the note? Oh, this song is going to be too hard. I go out there and I'm having fun. I'm engaging. I'm impactful. And I focus on what I'm giving. I'm giving away my gifts. I'm giving away this love that people need, and that is the biggest change. Instead of being so focused on, I got to prove myself. They have to like me. Uh, if I mess up, they're gonna know, and they're gonna think I suck, and all of that inner critic stuff.
Mhm.
It is Deborah is her name, my inner voice. Yes, I've named her. That's what kind of work you do in the intensive.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have several talks with her because she still likes to come and get her job back, but she's going to have to sit down and keep her mouth shut because I'm in charge and I'm going to dictate what's going to happen and what's not going to happen.
Mhm.
And the consistency, being on stage and being consistent and trusting my body and what it's made to do. My body is meant and made to do this, is built to sing, is built for this.
Mhm.
So it's trusting and then allowing.
Yeah. And so you guys, this is what certainty looks like. This is what impact looks like. This is what was always there for Amy, but was completely mired and sabotaged in her being in her own way at trying so hard and trying to control and force and manipulate, for all the reasons that we've talked about this week. But what it took was a decision that I am not going to go back to corporate. I am not going to live the rest of my life in regret because I had a gift and I didn't fight for it. And so I'm curious for you, Amy, what were the most transformative aspects of doing the work for you, like practically speaking, in this community? What were the biggest game changers for you?
Let's see. Doing this work, the biggest game changers for me. Is that what the question was, Arden?
Yeah, like practically speaking, the tools that you continue to use.
Oh, let's see. Well, definitely, the mindset tools, the um, having a ritual before every performance, like I was describing,
Mhm.
to get me grounded, to get me centered, to get me in the state of mind that I know that when I go on that stage, it's already done.
Mhm.
The performance is going to be outstanding because that is the intention that I set for
Mhm.
that performance.
Mhm.
Um, let's see what else. My mind, help me, mind.
Well, I,
Sorry.
I like also what's coming up for me is that like when you came
Yeah.
into the program, because of all of the disappointment and frustration and need to
Yeah.
prove everything, there was a ton of tension. There was a
Yes. Oh, yes.
ton
Thank
of
you.
physical tension when you
Yes.
sang that was showing up for you.
Yes. And a lot of forcing and manipulating because I didn't trust my body. I didn't trust that I would be able to be consistent in hitting whatever notes were. And now I get to relax and enjoy the ride, you know, and knowing that my body is going to do what it's meant to do.
Right. So are you guys picking up on some of her global beliefs? Are you guys picking this up like as she's talking? How many times did she say my body was born to do this, my body was built to do this? Like that is one of her global beliefs because as she was talking about before, she felt so insecure. There was so much need to prove, there was so much need to force and all of that. And so you notice how the new belief, the body is built to do this, that builds that trust, that uh, certainty that then we're able to like get out of our own way and stop sabotaging those things, right? Do you also understand there's the other belief, which you put it a little differently, but I'll paraphrase, which is like, um, you put it as God will provide. Like
Yes.
for somebody who, like I would put it kind of like the universe is always supporting me. Like I don't have to force, right? Like for you, that because I know you're a Jesus girl. And it's like, so it doesn't matter it's not a religious thing for us, you guys. It
No,
doesn't matter
it's
how
not.
you frame it, whether it's Buddhist, it doesn't matter. But it's the idea that like there is energy out there that when we learn how to connect, it makes it a lot easier for us to get out of our own way and make the sound and have the impact and take the actions that will get us way further than when we try to white knuckle and control everything,
Mm.
both on stage and off, right? So
Yes.
if you were talking to somebody who maybe has some of the same circumstances you, maybe they really want to, make some big changes and get some help for their career. Maybe they want to even work with us and they're terrified of what their husband would think, or they're terrified of the investment. Like, what for you is the thing that you would be able to give that might allow them to make a powerful decision for themselves in whatever way that gets shaped up?
Mm. Well, first of all, I get it. I wholeheartedly, first-handedly, if there's such a word, get it. And if I didn't choose myself, me, above all else, in investing in the intensive program, I would not be where I am. I would not be talking to you today. And God, spirit, the universe, whatever higher power you want to call this energy that we have at our disposal will always provide. Always. There is an abundance of everything. It's infinite. And it's a matter of getting in alignment with knowing and believing that, and that we are all deserving and worthy of this abundance and this love and success, and achieving and creating the dreams and the life that we want. And I would say, go for it. I did it. I was terrified, absolutely, unbelievably horrified, terrified. And I did it. I'm like, I don't know where the money's going to come from. My husband's probably going to divorce me. I don't know if I'm going to, what the hell's going to happen next? But as soon as I made that choice, that decision, it was like the floodgates open energetically. And then things started to move around in my favor. And I was like, this is how it works. I'm seeing the data, I'm seeing the evidence of what happens when
Yeah.
I do my part. I do my best, and God does the rest.
So
The
that's Amy's way of putting it. And my way of putting it is, we teach the universe how to treat us.
Yes.
We teach the energy. It's just that what exactly I was talking about in earlier when I was talking about, we want, but we block. We want, but we block. And that idea that, like, no, what nobody else is going to do this for you. Whatever this is, guys, for you. You know what I mean? Like, we teach the universe energetically how to treat us. I mean, I had a conversation with a singer recently who was she was in so much blame and excuses that the reason why she didn't have the career that she wanted is because no management was willing to take a shot on her. No management. She was trying to get management for her recording career. Nobody was willing to take a shot on her. She was submitting. Nobody was giving her meetings. And, she had a lot of issues with what was happening in her performance. Her impact wasn't there. The reason they weren't interested in taking her on and investing in her, it was because the impact wasn't there. But yet she was not willing, and she had never invested in her own growth as an artist, her own training as an artist. And so and I said to her, I said, can I be really honest? Can I hardcore you here for a second? As you might hear me say a lot if I work with you. And she said, yes. And I said, why do you think that manager would invest in you when you've never even invested in yourself? Why is it somebody else's job? It starts with you. Whether it's investing to get a producer to make a record that you want, whether it's investing to go to auditions because you don't live in a metropolitan area and you need to get on a train or a plane to go to these big auditions, whatever it is, you teach the universe how to treat you. And if you're not willing to show up for yourself, why would anybody else? And so what Amy is saying is so true, that the floodgates do open. Guys, I've seen this in my own world, in my own life. I've seen it with my singers, like, time and again. So this idea of fixed mindset versus growth mindset is like the key to this. It's how we get past this. And look, for some singers, they're just not ready. They're just not ready to bet on themselves. And that's okay. Like everybody's at their own spot with this. But if you recognize that these are the same patterns that have always been and you keep getting the same results because of it, then maybe let me shine the light on that gently for you to say, hey, maybe it's time to show up for yourself differently. And every single singer that you have heard today, or this week, I mean, from Jules to Adam yesterday to Amy to Nyla, all came up to that moment. It's what I call the growth edge. And it's the singers who decide to go beyond what's comfortable are the ones who get what they want. And the singers who go to that edge look over and go, oh, stay where they are. And that's, everybody's on their own journey. There's no blame and shame in that. But look at your own journey. Look at your own patterns of what your history has been with this, of your journey, and start to recognize, hey, maybe I'm doing that, and maybe it's time for me to make a decision. It's just a decision to do something different. Is there anything you want to leave us with, Amy? Because I know you know a lot of people in here. You've had conversations, whatever. Is there anything that you want to leave us with? It's up to you. I'll give you the floor.
Oh gosh, let's see. Well, I'm getting to know some of you really well, and I have such a love and tenderness for what you're all going through, and I totally get the the fear and the of the not knowing, and the money, or what's going to happen next, how the universe is the how, by the way. We just need to do our part. The how is not up to us. And I we're here for you, like, every step of the way. Like, we're not going anywhere. You guys need us, we're here. You join the intensive, that'll be the best decision of your life. I'm just saying, it was the best decision of mine. And we're going to be here to guide you and lead you to a greater success in life than you could ever imagine in your mind. And I know that because what I'm imagining, it hasn't even come close to what's actually happening. So I could go on and on and on, but you know what? We have a half hour left.
Yeah.
What I will say is, I love you all. God bless you. Universe bless you. And I'm
Yeah.
knowing that everything is going to work out for your highest good. Oh, thank you so much for listening. And Arden, I love you. Thank
I
you.
love you, Amy. Thank you so much.
You're so
And
welcome.
I really want to celebrate Amy for being able to go beyond what's comfortable and to consistently look at herself and be like, yep, this is scary, but this is the growth edge. And okay, I get to do it anyway. I'm scared and I get to do it anyway. But the difference is that she now has a community. She has our support. She has our guidance. She has the tools. And it can be really scary to feel like you're all out there. You're like an island just by yourself trying to figure all this stuff out. Makes it feel even more scary. So really celebrating each and every one of you who have shown up every day for this workshop and who have tapped into this community, whether you decide to work with us in the intensive or not. This community, this tribe is there for you. We have the Facebook group. We do these kinds of workshops, celebrating you for making your singing a priority when it's so easy to let life and other things get in the way, making your goals, your dreams, the vision that you have for not just your singing, but your life a priority, and to showing up and getting the tools and the things that are going to make a huge difference for you to shift that. And as you know, we have a scholarship opportunity to those who want to come work with us. And so if you've been with us every day of the workshop so far, if you haven't missed a single day, you're eligible to enter our big scholarship contest tonight to win $5,000. $5,000. You hearing me? $5,000 scholarship for the intensive training program. And so it brings the tuition down to 7K. I'm sorry, down from 7K to just 2K. So your responsibility is only 2,000. It's a huge scholarship. So if you want to be considered for the scholarship, you need to do two simple things tonight, because I'm going to be picking out of a hat tomorrow here live. And so if you want to throw your hat in the ring for that, then this is what you need to do tonight. So Ashley is going to put a link in the chat to use that you need to copy right now and paste, because that is the link that you are going to use for your scholarship submission. Okay. And we need two things when you go to that link. There are two things you need to do. Number one, you need to record a short little selfie video. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just do it on your phone, a little selfie video recording yourself speaking to the following things. What does doing the intensive training mean to you, and why you should be the one to receive the opportunity? So tell us what it means to you, why you want this, and just do it. Make a little selfie video. Keep it short, just a couple minutes is fine. So that's number one. You will upload that onto the form where the link will take you. And number two, I also need you to include at least one link to yourself performing or to your online recording. So links to where we can hear you, whether you have YouTube, or links to your performances, or if you have a video of yourself performing, you can upload it and send us a link to a shared doc on like a Google Drive or a Dropbox or something. Or if you have your recordings online, if they are on iTunes or SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever. So we just need at least one link to yourself performing or to your recordings online. Okay. And you must submit this by midnight tonight in whatever time zone you are in. Okay. So 12 midnight East Coast, 12 midnight West Coast, whatever, by midnight. So I happen to be on Mountain Time right now. So by 1 a.m. my time, which would be 12 p.m. Pacific time, every submission should be in. Okay. And then be here live tomorrow, because I'm going to announce the winner live in our session tomorrow. Please only submit if you are prepared to make the investment of the 2K. Okay. Because we're dropping the tuition majorly, but if you're somebody who, doesn't have any resources right now, then don't wait to submit. We tend to do this, a few times a year when we do these workshops. So wait to submit until you actually, have a viable path to the tuition that is your part. Okay. So be here live. We will announce the winner tomorrow. Again, you're only going to be considered if you've been to every session this week, and we can see who's been here. And if you've emailed the selfie video and the links, or not emailed, but uploaded the selfie and the links to the form that we put the link in the chat. So copy that now, so you have it. I'm not posting it anywhere else. This is not going into the Facebook group, and it's not coming in an email. So if you're interested in this, copy that link. Ashley just put it right there again for you guys. Okay. So here is the question that I have for you, and it really dovetails into everything that we've been talking about today, which is, when is now the time to move the needle on your singing career? Because life is in session, and it's always going to be in session. So when is now the time to go all in, to bring forth all you are capable of? And so people see you, so people connect with you and are impacted by you. When is now the time to go all in and bring that forth in ways that you have never been able to achieve before in your singing career? And there's two different roads that you can take. One road, in my opinion, is kind of a more lonely path, certainly more challenging, certainly more time consuming in the long run. And it's to try to solve all these issues on your own. And guys, I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit here and tell you that it's impossible to solve these issues on your own. I'd be a complete hypocrite if I did that, because that's basically what I did. I spent 10 years in all kinds of different modalities, literally throwing spaghetti on the wall, getting a lot of bad information, paying for a lot of training that didn't address the real problems, experimenting, loads of different things, so many of which, by the way, didn't work or didn't help or led me to a dead end. And I did this for years, finding out all the things that didn't work. And I spent so much time, a ton of time, and I invested a ton of money. I mean, easily in the earlier part of my career, easily $50,000 over the first 10 years of my career in mistakes and training that did not work. So you can definitely do this on your own, but it's really costly. And it's not just money, but it's the time that it takes to figure it all out when you're not the expert. And so, fixing these issues though, with your voice, your impact, and how it's affecting your career and your life, is just sort of like, I think of it, it's like going on a cross country trip with a map that tells you how to get from point A to point B, that literally tells you like how to avoid wrong turns, tells you exactly how to get to your final destination. So your odds of reaching it are significantly more likely if you actually have a map or a guide that shows you how to get there. But even better, if you have like a GPS that literally tells you if you get off track or if you take a wrong turn, and is like renavigating, right? Like, how your your GPS does that and brings you back to the correct path. So you can do it either without a map and try to figure it out as you go, try to wing it, or you can get a GPS that will keep you on the right path, hold your hand, mirror back to you all the ways that you would otherwise get in your own way. You can work with a team who geeks out on this stuff and like has collectively, between my team, our mindset coaches, our expert technique coaches, me, like collectively over 100 years of experience doing this. Even if it seems like your blocks and patterns feel very murky right now, or insurmountable even, or if you've worked with some of the best singing coaches in the world, you've been at Juilliard or Berklee School of Music, like you guys, I have like very fancy degrees from these kinds of places. I know that kind of training. And you're thinking, I've been with the best and I'm still not there yet. And then you feel really overwhelmed. Guys, I've done this hundreds of times with hundreds of singers. You heard Jules and Nyla and Adam and Amy. Like, this is what my team and I love to do, what we are the best in the world at. And guys, I've said this to some of you. I don't play the false humility game. When I say we are the best in the world at this, we are the best in the world at this, helping singers get out of their own way, link mind and body to create the most rock solid foundation for the biggest impact, so you can go out there and kill it in your career. And I mean, I say career, but like honestly, we have singers who come work with us who are very passionate avocational singers, what I call multi-passionate creatives, people who love what they do in their sort of normie careers and really want a high-level performing career to do at the same time, right? It's not either or, okay? But having this foundation, this rock solid foundation for impact, is the most important thing that you can learn, regardless of the path that you want to take with it, because everything else in your success comes out of your ability to make that impact. And there's no point in continuing to spend any more time or energy or money on things like studio time, amazing producers, amazing marketing strategies, if what you are recording, what you are marketing, your voice, your performance, is not making the impact that your listeners need the way that it needs to. So freeing 100% of your potential and learning how to sing in a way that is the most true to you, that makes that visceral impact on your audience, that is so healthfully produced that you can sing 7 shows a week without issue. Those are the most valuable things that you can learn, because everything else you will do in your career hinges on your ability to do that. And if you want our support and you really want to work with us in the intensive training program to achieve this, then your next step is to schedule a discovery call with me. And we will see if this is a right fit for you. Ash is going to put the link in the chat to schedule a call with me. I've set aside time in the next few days. This is to talk about, what your questions might be, what your concerns might be. Like, I really want to do this, Arden, but I blah, blah, blah. Let's like parse it out and get some clarity. And we'll decide together if this is the right path for you. And this flagship training program that we have, that I developed, this is to train singers 360, holistic, technique, artistry, mindset. That is the tripod that a successful singing career stands on. And so we do that and set that foundation with our technique accelerator trainings. So you have full command of your technique that's really consistent, reliable, healthy. Mind-body integration modules. It's a deep dive into your unique patterns of thinking. You've had a little taste of this through some of the thought exercises, through some of the meditation work, but we deep dive and we coach on these things, one-on-one in the context of the group, to really shift this mindset and make sure that your thinking is no longer affecting your body when you sing, is no longer affecting the ways in which you're acting on your own behalf or not when it comes to what you want in your singing. We have individual weekly coaching in the context of the group to make sure you're embodying this new skill set, mindset, artistry in the most effective way. We do group mindset call, weekly topic focused coaching, really focus on supporting the mindset necessary for this kind of growth in your voice and in your career. You have your one-on-one mindset coach to help you really break the boundaries that have previously stopped you and have the accountability so you actualize the results you really want. And our community and our safe space for singers to go beyond these comfort zones, to take inspired risks and in a compassionate and supportive way with their fellows, and being around like-minded artists where you can learn and take action and achieve these goals. So, this is for you guys if despite your best efforts, you're not where you want to be. You're dying to sing in a way that's more reliable, more consistent, more powerful. You want your body to work for you, not against you. You have invested in vocal training in the past and it has not gotten you the results that you really want. And you are desperate for something different that does work. And this is important because you dream of getting better results from what you're doing. Your auditions, your performances, your recordings, the money that you're making, to speak to what Amy was talking about. Like, no more putting in all this time and effort and not seeing the outcomes that you want in your career. And also to get rid of the things that are making you feel insecure, tension, strain, vocal fatigue. If you desire to sing in ways that not only sound good, but feel good and that are sustainable long term, because that's what I want from you. I don't want you to just be able to go out there and do it for a minute and then like it not be sustainable, right? Like, this is about creating real long-term change. And then if you need to find your sound through that, tap into what is special about your unique voice, your emotional home, what you have that nobody else does that sets you apart from other singers so you can go out there and hit these career goals. And more than anything, know, to speak to what Amy was talking about, that anytime you open your mouth, you can trust what is going to come out and that your body will make the most effective sound that taps into 100% of your potential every single time, no matter what. Like, this is what we are creating here. This is what we do all day, every day. It was what we are the very best in the world at. So this is a huge opportunity that I'm giving to you guys who are in this workshop, who have shown up so committed, so resourceful with your time, who are showing that level of passion. Is we take $2,000 off of the normal tuition. So if you don't win the scholarship, don't stress. We have a million different ways that we can skin the cat financially. We have form payments of $1,875 or $1,897. We have a more discounted pay in full of $7K. There's financing through PayPal and other avenues. So if you are seriously considering this, but you have some lingering questions, get on the call with me. That is your next step. Book that discovery call with me and let's talk it out. Reminder, this is not a coaching call. Okay. It's just a discovery call to really parse out what I've gone over and see if it is going to be a good fit for you, and go over the ways in which, if you have questions about financing, if you have questions about timing, it's summer. I know some of you might have travel, how that would work. Get on my call, get on my schedule, and let's talk it out. Okay. We have one final session tomorrow. It is Ask Me Anything. So this is your opportunity to get clarity on anything and everything that we trained on this week, whether it's a technique thing that you noticed as you were practicing, whether it's a mindset thing. This is your time tomorrow. I am at your disposal. We are posting we're putting a post up in the Facebook group. It is the Ask Me Anything post. So one way to do it, like if you absolutely want to be 100% sure that your question is going to get answered, go into the Facebook group and put your question as the comment in the comments to that post. And I will, because I'm going to be copying those and making sure that we get to those. The other way is you can just show up and raise your hand in the chat. And as long as we have enough time, like, I will answer your question. And like I said, it can be a technique question. And if we do want to coach on it, like, we can play with that, assuming there's time. If you also have questions about the intensive, if you have questions about how financing works, like all of that. So tomorrow, Ask Me Anything. I'm at your disposal. We have about 15 minutes. I'm happy to stick around if any of you have specific questions to what we were talking about today, whether it's the mindset piece, this idea of asking and blocking and the resistance and things that maybe you've noticed. Also happy to answer any questions about intensive training program. But the floor is yours. So yeah, anybody have any questions? And you can, yeah, Harvey. Harvey is one of the new members coming into the intensive, celebrating him for,
Hmm. Can you hear
hey,
me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Um, yeah, I've been practicing the things. I still am having trouble with the implosion thing,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how that goes.
Okay. So good question, because the idea of implode is really it's an energetic idea that really helps us maximize the efficiency of the body. So I came up with this idea of implode. Well, I didn't really come up with it. What I call it is implode, but this has been a technique that many classical singers and opera singers have used over the years, and what they call it is inhalata la voce, inhale the voice. And
Uh-huh.
this is why that is an idea, because for most singers, without realizing it, they feel like they need to get the sound out. They feel like they need to push the pitch up here. They feel like there's all of this focus and energetic focus on out and up. But when we have that focus, and we have, like, remember, we say body is only ever responding to the brain. And so if we've got that either consciously, because maybe we were taught wrong and we were taught to push in and push out, or maybe we have it subconsciously because, like, we were talking about with Melissa yesterday, the need to kind of, be big and sound good and prove. And so all of that causes the body to do the opposite of what the best breath support technique really is. And so, as we were talking about, this idea of the diaphragm and the muscles around the diaphragm flexing down so that the diaphragm can stay low and move slow and it doesn't push all the air out as fast as possible. When singers are thinking they need to get the sound out, the body pushes to push all the sound out. And so that explosion, it sabotages the direction, the most efficient direction of the container and the muscles of support. And then you get too much air. So the idea of implode, it's just an energetic idea, Harvey. It's like a,
Well,
it's, it's like a, it's, there's a word I'm looking for. It's an intention. Okay.
you
And
said
so,
something about bringing this sound to you. You know.
yes, yes.
So, could you give me a quick example and I'll try it?
So the idea of bring the sound to you is just so that you don't feel like you need to push. And
Okay.
so then this idea of the appoggio, of the gentle lean and the
Oh
gentle
yeah.
flex is able to be activated in your body, because otherwise, if you think you need to get the sound out, this flex is going to become a push and a contract to try to push the air up and out. And so what we want is this feeling of
Okay.
down. Okay. And so if you, an idea of implode that I like to talk about is, like, if you're going to invite something in, like, let's say you're having a party
Invited in. Okay.
and the people, right, you need to make room for the people who are coming in to the party, right? Like, the doors need to be open. Okay. And so in keeping the muscles of support going this way and keeping the ribs out, you're keeping the diaphragm low for as long as possible. And now you have all
Okay.
this room here for lungs and for energy to stay with you. Otherwise, we push ribs in, we push belly in, we push everything up and out, and now we're contracted, and there's no room
So
because
it could
everything is
be.
going this way. So the idea of implode is like invite it in, bring it this way. And it's, again, it's not something that I want you to, like, manipulate or force with your body. It's an idea.
Okay.
It's an idea
Well,
if you
you said
think implode.
yeah. You talk about breathing. What did you say? Having the sound like coming to you like, how much is I hoggy in the window or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's way too low for you, first of all, because you feel how much you have to manipulate in order to get it to happen.
Okay.
Okay. So take a step backwards so I can see more of you because you're a little cut off right now. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So all I want you to do is siren. So you're just going to go, ah, okay?
Oh.
Good. And as you siren, I want you to visualize the sound imploding into your body. Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, what did that feel like to you? What did you notice about that?
I know that it feels good, and I like swimming. I'm going to have to like swim backwards and practice that a couple times for it to, you know.
Okay. Okay, so hold on. So that one did two things. That was half in the new, half in the old. What that one did is you imploded until you were about 75% of the way. And then to get to the highest part, the last 25%, you went from implode to explode. Like, do you ever, remember the famous movie Spaceballs from the 80s, Mel
That one
Brooks?
I didn't see. It's a.
Oh, okay. The funny, because in Spaceballs, he's like, she's gone from suck to blow. And so in that moment, you went from the implode to the explode, and you could see the energy and the tension of the body change. You were this way and you were leaning down, and then this happened. You went, ah, and then okay. So did you notice that as you went up that time, that things felt a little tighter than what you did a minute before? Yeah. Okay. So right now, I don't care how high you siren. I really don't. Only siren as high as you can, support the implode, that down and out implode. Try it again. Good. Now, yeah. Now I'm going to give you one other thing to play with as you do it, because you're doing a much better job at this feeling of calling it in instead of trying to push it out. Okay. But remember, we talked about that, the more space we have, if we're trying to implode something, the more we can implode because there's more space to call it in, right? So can you find that feeling of widening between your ears and that gentle smile? So find a dumb smile. Just normal smile. Normal smile.
I have trouble smiling. No.
I don't think that's true. I think you smile naturally all the time and you just don't realize that you're doing it naturally. So like you see something funny, what would just be like a natural smile for you? Okay. So you found your space, but again, and this takes time, and we'll work on this in the workshop. It's a little bit like this, which is you found your space, you came in, and then you pushed it back up in the last 25%, and then this graph. So we got let's see if you can
open this up first. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a trust thing. It's a trust thing. You're new to the support, and your jaw and your neck doesn't really trust that it's going to be there to support you yet. And so as you go up higher in your range, this wants to grab. Okay. So how would you do this if you just trusted that the open space and the implode was enough? Try it. Yes. That's
the time I was pushing out my diet.
Yes.
Sides.
Yes. Yes.
Appoggio.
Yes, appoggio, mi amore. Yeah. So that's the implode, right? So if any of you were having, that's a good question, because I think there were others who might maybe have had a little bit of confusion about that. It's just an energetic idea, you guys, to get you to. Yeah, you're welcome. We'll start soon. I'm gonna talk to you later. It's just an energetic idea to stop like the body from feeling like so compelled to need to push the sound out. Okay. Yeah. Marilyn, you have a question?
Yes, I have two. Hopefully they're small. The first one is in the breath control, when you're expanding and going down with that expansion so the diaphragm remains down. I thought you had said something about it's not a constant, it's the wrong word. the expansion doesn't stay stiff. It's a gradual movement out. Yes.
So you guys, it's not, we don't want to hold that flex. Yeah, it's not like we flex and then we hold, okay? It's a feeling of like sitting in and flowing through that flex over the course of the whole phrase, rather than like hitting it and holding it. And
Okay.
it's, yeah, that's I think what
Yeah.
I was talking about there. Yeah.
The other thing is all the tech stuff that you have to do to do tonight's to possibly send in everything. I'm a little backwards on that, or I don't know exactly how to get it online.
So you mean, how do you upload a video onto the form?
Right, especially, I mean, I have something that's on my computer, for example. I have something that's on YouTube.
Okay, so if you have something, you do have something that's on YouTube?
But I was younger, considerably.
Okay, so just copy that link from YouTube and put it in the form. And then the form, Ashley, I believe that they can upload videos as well as linking to videos. Am I right when it comes to like the selfie?
Correct. They can do either version.
Okay, so the form will give you an opportunity, like, so you make the little selfie video, and then from your computer or whatever, and then you can, like, you know how you attach an email, like you can attach a picture or video to an email?
Right.
You'll be able to click in the form and attach your selfie video to the form.
So it'll bring up a
It'll attach it to the form in the same way it attaches it to an email. And if you have, I mean, like, I know you're already coming in. And so if you have like a question about it, just, shoot Ashley, you can shoot us an email, but just do the best you can. It's not that, it's more, I mean, Ashley, can you share your screen with the form and just like show everybody what we're talking about? Are you able to do that?
Sure, 1 second.
Yeah, we can we'll screen share because you're probably not the only one who has this question. It's not complicated. It's fairly straightforward. Once you see it, I think you'll see it. And just so you guys know, like the scholarship, it's like totally random. I literally take a hat and I like fold up all you guys and I put it all in and I'm like, so it's like a drawing. So give us all of this so we can just see that your intention and your qualification. And then, so this is the form. So you see where it says add file. When you click that, it takes you to the files on your computer and you can browse or you can drag and drop. And so you can choose whatever file you want. You can, like, that's Ashley's computer, so you can go to wherever the video file is that you have on your computer, and you can literally upload it right there. But also, if you're not uploading something and you have a link to that instead, like some people might want to do it on Google Drive or Dropbox, you can also just put the link to whatever you videoed there as well. But I think for you, Marilyn, it's add file. Okay. And then the performance and recording link, you would just copy what you have from YouTube and you can just put it right there. Cool. Okay. Got you. Okay, Nathaniel, hi. Wait, go ahead and unmute Nathaniel.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you. Your workshop has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Arden, I have to deprogram and reprogram my brain because for years I've been taught to inhale, tense up in the diaphragm to support the note, which is exactly opposite of what I'm learning from you. And it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, I know. You're not alone in that at all. It's a new habit and it takes conditioning, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So you guys, really, it is just like any new physical endeavor. Like if you've never, I don't know, skateboarded before, you're going to have to learn, your body's going to have to learn the mechanics of what it is to skateboard efficiently, Also, like for those of you, like was having an issue with my shoulder. And it turns out it wasn't my shoulder. It turns out it's how I've been just kind of using and carrying my body for like years. And I've had to learn a new new way of carrying myself so that my body gets used to that. But just like anything else, time in the saddle and conditioning and making sure that you have expert eyes and ears on you to make sure you're doing it right. Like I go to the body worker every other week and make sure I'm like doing this stuff right. That's with that, it's not hard to shift, but it does require, Nathaniel, that you are conscious and intentional when you are practicing. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're doing lip trills to really, that's for the best, the hissing and the lip trills to really start to rewire the body to go in the direction that you want. And so when you're doing hisses and when you're doing lip trills, not to go on autopilot, but like really tapping into your witness and noticing what your body is doing. Because the minute you leave the present moment of your body and you just go on autopilot, body is going to go back to the habit because the new muscle memory hasn't been set yet. So at the beginning, it's more brain work. It's really noticing and being intentional about, okay, am I feeling that down and out? Am I, like not letting the metaphorical belt fall down? Am I feeling that width in my ribs? And when I hiss, am I collapsing? Or am I noticing? And if I notice I'm collapsing, I'm going to stop and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to set the new muscle memory, which is, I release this, and then you see my obliques fire. And that's what starts the sound instead of collapsing ribs. No. Here. Okay. So it's part of the work, you guys. It's brain work so that your body learns how to be more efficient. At the beginning, you're working harder up here so that your body learns how to work more efficiently because you're being really intentional about what you are doing. And I just know from years of doing this that when I'm learning something new, the minute I go on autopilot, the old muscle memory shows up. And then I end up conditioning that without realizing it and not wanting to, So, take time for your practice and set that. Yeah.
Does this help with, can I use that same technique for belting? Because
It's technique for everything. It's the tech. If
belting and growling, okay.
It doesn't matter. If you are singing, if you are opening your mouth, if you are phonating, you are supporting. Okay. And for high chest voice singing, what people call belting, I hate the term because it just implies force. I'm going to belt it. I'm going to whack it. And that's what most people do when they belt, and it's not supported and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't sound good and they feel tense and stuff. So I don't like to use the word belting. I will invite you guys to use the word high chest voice instead. It has a different connotation. The words we use matter, but it requires even more of that grounded, consistent support. If I'm singing super high in my chest voice, I mean, I'm not wearing the greatest shirt for this day, but I think you can see. So if I'm like, I am like, tell them how I'm defying. Like, you see how my body is like solid. It's super solid because, to speak to what Marilyn was asking, I'm not thinking I got to hold this. What makes it stay in that solid place is me feeling throughout the whole phrase like I'm consistently gently flexing and moving through this feeling of the container of the upward jaw. Okay. So you need more of that when you're in high chest voice. So yeah, you guys, if you are phonating, if you are singing, you are in your support. Basta. Good question, Nathaniel. And then I saw one other question in the chat about pelvic floor. Who was asking me that? You guys were, somebody was asking about pelvic floor. There we go. Yeah, Katerina was asking about pelvic floor. So, when when you've given birth and there's like, you need to kind of like strengthen your perineum and things like that. Like, part of the pelvic floor. So when we're singing, we're gently bearing down on pelvic floor, but the exercises that doctors will give women to strengthen and get the there's a word I'm looking for, like the reconnection of pelvic floor back after giving birth. You've probably heard Kegel exercises, and Kegel exercises is pulling the pelvic floor up towards your belly button in the opposite direction. And so to be able to move it in either direction, you're strengthening the pelvic floor. You're doing exactly what the doctors want you to do to get more plasticity and more like tightness back into your pelvic floor. So if you have just given birth and those muscles feel much more stretched out and slack, like being able to bear down on pelvic floor might feel a little iffy, like especially if your bladder is full, you know. But it's safe in the sense that like nothing bad will happen as long as you're not like slamming down on your pelvic floor, which I don't advocate anyway. That's too much force. It's a directional thing, and it's that gentle feeling down, not necessarily because of what actually happens in the pelvic floor, but because when you're thinking of that bearing down feeling, all of these other muscles that we really do need for support engage in exactly the right way. So, you know, you have to just kind of gauge what your body's ready for if you've just given birth, but it's not, you know, unless you have like a special situation going on down there, it's not like unsafe in any way medically that I know of. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just speaking from my experience. Let's see. Okay. So, just going through the chat to see if anybody had anything else to say. Okay, guys. Oh, Katie, what is phonating? Phonating is making sound, like making sound with your vocal cords. Phonating is any version of that, whether you're talking, whether you're singing, whether you're going woo woo, phonating. Yeah, that's what that is. Good question. I just assumed you guys knew. Okay, fantastic. So, great session, guys. Put your questions in the Facebook group. I'll be sure to answer them, and also come in live and we can play around with stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Go enjoy your Saturday night and get on my call. If you're like thinking about the intensive, you're like on the fence, let's talk it out. I don't want you to do or be in anything that's not right for you. So let's get clarity on that and we can do that together. Okay, guys. Bye.